Police have confirmed that the number of dead following the collapse of a section of the Meetotamulla rubbish dump has risen to 25. 145 homes were damaged in the collapse, while 625 people from 180 families are displaced. The bodies of 6 people killed in the collapse of the Meetotamulla rubbish dump are currently lying at the Kulonava Raja Mahaviharya. The final rites for a family of 4 killed in the collapse were observed at the Kulonava Public Cemetery today. The final rites for the other 2 people whose bodies are currently lying at the Kulonava Raja Mahaviharya will be observed at the Kotikavatta Public Cemetery in Colombo.
When the problem aggravated in 2011 and several homes were damaged, we commenced several protest movements. At that time, the Colombo Municipal Council provided the 600 million rupee tender at 800 million rupees to 2 companies and engaged in a major racket where the councillors and the commissioners divided up more than 200 million rupees among themselves. Not only that, several councillors used their lorries to dump garbage here and turn this into their main source of income. What they said at the time was that the problem cannot be resolved because the UPFA governed the country and the UNP governed the CMC. But even after the people changed the government, the problem was not resolved. Ranil Wickramasinghe called us for talks, said the problem would be resolved within 6 weeks and appointed a committee headed by the chairman of the UDA. 60 companies submitted their reports and their proposals to this committee. Because of the bribes and the income they received through this rubbish dump, the CMC and the UDA did not allow any of these projects to proceed. Recently, even more politicians started dipping their beaks into this. All of them brought in companies that were friendly to them and attempted to get some money from it. Close to 40 people have paid with their lives as a result of this tug of war. Even today, politicians are trying to gain political mileage from this. Our question is, who will be held accountable for the deaths of these children, these people? The children of these politicians go to popular schools and lead lives of luxury. They will never dump their garbage in Colombo 7. They have dumped the garbage in an area where innocent people live. No one has come forward to take accountability for their lives, and we do not expect that anyone will either.
3 more bodies were recovered during the search operations this morning.
We have deployed 1,050 personnel from the tri-forces to carry out the relief effort. We have also dispatched 15 excavators and an equal number of dump trucks and tippers for this purpose. The operation is ongoing. A team of experts is also on the ground assessing whether there is a risk of another disaster at this rubbish dump. The army too has put up the necessary cameras and is constantly monitoring the situation. No, it has not been stopped. It has been ongoing since the evening of the 14th with no pause. We hope to continue until the task is finished.
In a message to Prime Minister Ranil Wickramasinghe, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe expressed his condolences over the loss of life as a result of the tragedy. He added that a technical team is likely to visit Sri Lanka at the earliest to take stock of the situation and assist in remedial measures. Meanwhile, the Ceylon Teachers Union says the government is directly accountable for the loss of lives of school children and the damage to school property as a result of the disaster. Issuing a statement, the union pointed out that when a section of the rubbish dump collapsed on the 2nd of January 2013, Rahula College in Meetotamulla was closed and there were calls from the public to remove the dump. The CTU says that while they continuously called on the government to remove the rubbish dump and reopen the school, no action was taken and the school was not reopened. The displaced are still taking shelter at Terrace and De Silva Mahavidyalaya in Kolonava. A special police unit has been stationed at Rahula College in Meetotamulla to record entries on missing people and damage to property. IGP Pooja Sundara visited the unit today. The IGP also inspected 2 storage facilities at the Paddy Marketing Board which are being used to shelter the displaced.
We are hoping to finish the work by Wednesday. His Excellency the President has also issued an order for the government to bear the cost of all personal expenses on the part of the displaced people.
The National Building Research Organisation has advised for the evacuation of people living in 130 homes surrounding the Meetotamulla rubbish dump. The head of the NBRO Geology and Landslide Research Unit RMS Bandara says the surrounding area has been labelled a danger zone. Rubbish from Kolonnawa, Kotikawata and Mulleriyawa has been dumped in Meetotamulla for 30 years. As per a ruling of the Supreme Court in 2008, rubbish from the Colombo Municipal Council limits has also been dumped here since then. 800 tons of garbage is dumped at this 20-acre landfill each day. The rubbish dump is about 300 feet or 91 meters high. Newsfirst has just received information that the death toll from the Meetotamulla tragedy has increased to 26. Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena has instructed officials to submit a comprehensive report on the extent of the loss of life and damage to property caused by the collapse at the Meetotamulla rubbish dump within 5 days. Now, President Sirisena chaired a meeting at the Ministry of Disaster Management this morning to coordinate and assess the relief effort.
Parliamentarians and ministers, including the Minister of Disaster Management, Anura Priyadarshana, were present at the meeting. President Sirisena had instructed officials to disregard financial constraints in providing relief to the affected people.
මේ ස්ථානයේ තිබෙන අපද්‍රව්‍ය මේ කුණු කන්ද මෙතනින් ඉවත් කිරීම පිළිබඳව ගත යුතු.
The waste at this location, this rubbish dump, must be removed swiftly. That is one problem. We must also resolve the problem of how we are going to provide relief for the people who are living in this area. Their welfare is of the utmost importance and we must act swiftly to remove the rubbish dump. All institutions must carry out their tasks to ensure the safety of the people living in this area, to evacuate people living in areas that are at risk, providing them alternative housing and ensure their welfare. There will be no shortcomings in financial provisions from the government to carry out the relief effort.
මේ පිළිබඳව අපි රජයේ විදියට ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කටයුතු කෙරෙනවා.
Priority was given at this meeting to removing the rubbish dump from this location.
මේ පිළිබඳ අවසානයක් දකින්න
The government wants to see an end to this. Whenever a location is chosen, there are protests. Politicians get involved. Monks get involved. They take to the streets with the little understanding of the facts. This is a major problem for the country. We need to talk about a scientific approach to waste management. The only location in Sri Lanka and all of South Asia to scientifically dispose of waste is in Dompe. 5 more facilities are being developed in the country. We need a scientific solution to this issue.
දැන් හැදමින් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා මේවට විද්‍යාත්මක විසඳුම.
Attention was also drawn towards the need to relocate people who are still living in high-risk areas. It was decided to use 2 storage facilities of the Paddy Marketing Board to provide temporary shelter for evacuees.
අපි දැනට හොයාගෙන තිබෙනවා මේ කුණු.
The rubbish dump is not secure. Other sections of it could collapse. We have conducted investigations to determine the risk areas and we are evacuating the residents. We are marking a boundary today. The police, the Ceylon Electricity Board, the Water Board have undertaken the task of immediately refurbishing 2 storage facilities of the Paddy Marketing Board to serve as a temporary shelter. The responsibility has been given to the District Secretary. No more waste will be dumped there. Parliamentarians who participated in the meeting expressed the following views. 800,000 to 1 million people travel to Colombo every day. The entire country comes here. All politicians and everyone in the country must come together to resolve the problem of disposing the waste generated by the people coming here. We cannot simply delay this by saying that this is the waste of the people of Colombo or that this is the waste of the CMC. This is a problem for the people of this country and so we need to find a permanent solution soon. I propose to His Excellency the President that we quickly provide homes in the Colonava division which have been built under the various projects undertaken by the Urban Development Authority. The Colombo Municipal Council offered a sum of money for this purpose and the balance can be submitted to the Cabinet on Tuesday and the people can be resettled there quickly. They cannot live in camps until homes are built. This catastrophe was not the fault of the people.
There were several parties that claimed ownership of the garbage dump in Meetotamulla in the recent past. The Colombo Municipal Council, the Ministry of Local Government and Provincial Councils, the Urban Development Authority, the Western Provincial Council, Pradesh Sabha and Provincial Council members as well as parliamentarians. However, at present, no one takes responsibility for the tragedy that took place at the Meetotamulla garbage dump. People commend the President for taking quick action to ensure that the people affected receive assistance.